My parents sued to evict me so my sister could own her first home. In court, my 7-year-old asked the judge, "Can I show you something Daddy doesn't know?" The judge nodded. She held up her tablet, pressed play. When it started, "My name is Matt. I'm 35. I'm an architect, the older kid, the reliable one, the one who shows up with a tool bag and a measuring tape when everyone else just brings opinions. I design schools and small civic buildings. On weekends I fix things, hinges, fences, roofs that sag in the rain. People call me when there's a leak and when they just want to pick my brain, which is free labor with a nicer name. I'm also a dad. Nora is 7. She has my stubborn chin and her mom's honesty. When she laughs, it sounds like someone shaking a jar of marbles. When she's quiet, she's building something. Towers out of cereal boxes, cities out of shoe boxes, entire worlds out of paper tape. My family knows all this. They also know my sister, Ava, is the golden one. She's 30, works in event marketing, has the smile of a local news anchor and the timing of a cat begging at dinner. If the world were a living room, she'd be the lamp everyone adjusts the whole room around. I learned young that in our house, help flowed one way. When Ava needed a backdrop built for a pop-up or a wall repainted or a clumsy boyfriend's drywall disaster patch before a landlord inspection, guess who showed up with drop cloths? Me. When I needed anything more than a proud of you. The room got quiet. 2 years ago, I moved into the carriage house behind my parents' place while I rebuilt my credit after a hospital thing with Nora. It wasn't a handout. I gutted it, pulled new Romex, leveled the floors, installed proper egress windows. I paid for the materials. My parents called it temporary. I heard the pause after that word. The hook didn't set until a Sunday dinner in early spring. We were in my parents' kitchen. The table smelled like lemon oil and roast chicken. My mom was plating asparagus like she was auditioning for a cooking show. My dad was carving badly. Ava swirled her wine and said, casual as a prayer, "So, you're still in the carriage house?" "Yup," I said, "until I close on something. Prices are stupid." She tilted her head. "It's kind of perfect back there. Like, starter home perfect." I laughed, because that's what you do when you don't want to start a fight. "For who?" "For me," she said, like it was a given. "I mean, it's tiny but cute. And I'm turning 31. It's time to own something." My dad kept carving. My mom kept plating. No one looked at me. Nora poked my sleeve. "Daddy." "Yeah, bug. Can I have the drumstick you don't want?" "Take both," I said, because suddenly I didn't want any. Ava lifted a shoulder. "It would be good for the family, you know, to finally have me settled." My mom said it like she was tasting the idea. It would be nice to see Ava in a place of her own. There was a sound then. Not a slam, not a shout. Just the quiet click inside my head when a detail falls into place on a drawing set. You know the sound. It's the one that says, "Oh, that's what this is." I cut the roast chicken skin with the back of my fork and didn't eat it. I looked at my parents. I looked at Ava. I didn't say anything. Not yet. But that was the first crack. You don't design roofs without noticing leaks. You don't grow up as the not golden child without hearing the plan before they say the words. That night, after I tucked Nora in and she pushed her tablet under her pillow like it was a diary, she asked, eyes big in the dark, "Are we moving?" "We're okay," I said. "Go to sleep." And I meant it. I thought I did. Until the next part started writing itself without me. The story didn't begin in a courtroom. It began with the usual slow drip. "Matt, can you grab coffee after work?" My mom texted. I showed up at the cafe near the office, still in boots and a safety vest speckled with drywall dust. She had a folder. "Why do parents think a folder makes bad news look professional?" "We've been talking," she said. "Ah," I said. "Your dad and I think it's time to make things official with the carriage house." "Official how?" She did the delicate sip thing. "Ava has been saving." I blinked. For a down payment. On the little building I'm currently living in. On her first home," she said, like reciting a charm. "It's important for young women to build equity." "I agree," I said. "She should buy a place." "She wants that place," my mom said, the folder neat and patient under her hand. I took a breath. "I'm not a wall hanging. You don't move me like a picture frame." "Don't be dramatic," she said. "I'm not. I'm an architect. I'm being literal." She pushed the folder across the table. Inside, comps, a rough sketch of the property line like a child's treasure map, and something that looked suspiciously like a drafted family tenancy agreement with my name ghosted out. "Mom, just read it." The agreement said 90 days. It said gift and family equity and legacy. It read like a Hallmark card, and an eviction notice had a baby. I'm not proud of this, but I laughed. Not mean. Just that tired, unbelieving laugh you do when a beam you poured says it's decorative. I can't do 90 days, I said. Nora's school, the bus route, the schedule. It would be good for her to learn flexibility, my mom said. I'll keep paying rent. Ava cut in a week later, at dinner, returning to the topic like a cat to a warm spot. I'll even be a cool aunt neighbor. You haven't paid rent here since college, I said. She rolled her eyes. That's not the point. The point, it turned out, was a narrative. Ava had won. My parents bought it. Then came the paperwork. Not from a folder at a cafe, but certified mail. Green card you have to sign for like you're adopting a bomb. Plaintiffs, it said at the top. My parents' names. Defendant, it said. Mine. I stood on my tiny stoop and read the words 3 times while the mail carrier pretended to care about the weather. Daddy, Nora said, leaning on my knee. Why are you making your thinking face? Because grown-ups are being silly, I said, which is what you call cruelty when you can't explain it to a first grader. The complaint was dressed up like logic. Trespasser. Unlawful detainer. License revocation. It argued that my stay had always been permissive, that it had ended, that I refused to leave, that my presence interfered with the reasonable expectation of plaintiff Ava to own her first home. They used those words, own her first home, in a legal document. Like a dream, needed a sheriff now. I called my dad. You sued me. We didn't sue you, he said. The lawyer did the paperwork. So, you hired a lawyer. To sue me. It's not personal. You literally wrote my name. It's just time, he said. Ava needs stability. And Nora needs what? I asked. A suitcase. Silence. Then the sound of a television somewhere. The laugh track, choosing sides. I wanted to rage. I didn't. I got practical. It's how my brain copes. I took pictures. I collected texts. I printed rent payments from my bank. E-transfer notes that read carriage house. April, heat, water, insulation. I found the email from 2 summers ago where my mom wrote, "We really appreciate you taking care of the taxes on the outbuilding this year." I wrote down every date I'd covered their leaky main roof, their ice dam, their broken sump pump. Not as weapons, as memory. Because when people change the story, paper doesn't. When I dropped Nora at school, she squeezed my hand hard. We don't have to move, right? Not if I can help it. And you can help it, she said with absolute faith. I'm going to try. That night I called my ex, Jess. Quick thing, I said, trying to sound normal. My parents served me. Like with dinner? Like with a lawsuit. There was a long breath on the line. Do I need to get Nora more nights while you figure it out? Maybe, I said. But can I ask you something? Sure. If this goes to court, don't bring her unless a judge asks. I don't want her in that room. Of course not, Jess said. Then, softer, I'm sorry. Me too. The next weeks were ugly. Group texts from relatives. Family is everything. Ava deserves a chance. It's only fair. Apparently fairness now meant throwing a kid's drawings into banker boxes because a 30-year-old wanted an Instagram caption about keys. The worst part wasn't the paper. It was the small things. My mom stopped leaving leftovers at my door. My dad stopped pretending to check on my boiler. Ava stopped saying please. Every visit, she'd hover in my doorway like a realtor. I could do floating shelves, she mused once. Eyes running lines across my wall like a laser level. Maybe paint this brick. Ava, I said. What? Innocent, practiced. This is my home. She smiled with no teeth. For now. At night, when the house was quiet and the radiators clicked like they were counting, I stared at the ceiling and rehearsed calm words. Because if I showed up angry, I'd be the problem. If I showed up steady, maybe the truth would sit down too. One thing about being an architect, you learn to read loads. Some walls are bearing. Some are decoration. I couldn't tell yet which my parents were. But the court date came. It always does. The courtroom was smaller than TV makes it. Beige walls, tired flags, a clock that tried and failed to keep up. The judge was mid-50s with kind eyes that didn't fool around. The bailiff moved like a metronome. Ava wore a white blazer like she just got promoted by a magazine. My parents sat shoulder to shoulder like a bench was a lifeboat. Jess sat behind me because she's a better human than I deserve. Nora was with her, tablet in her backpack, earbuds like a small anchor. Case number. The clerk read. The lawyer my parents hired stood first. He talked in calm, expensive sentences. Permissive use. Revocation. Client's right to quiet enjoyment. Daughter's first opportunity at homeownership. He said it like a sermon. First home. He kept saying it. When it was my turn, I stood. My mouth felt like chalk. But architects present to boards. We learn to breathe. I'm not a squatter, I said. I'm their son. I've paid utilities, taxes on the outbuilding, Sent rent every month. I remodeled the structure at my expense with their permission. I have receipts. I placed the folder down. Paper made a sound. Truth has a sound. They want to evict me so my sister can have it as her first home, I said. That's their phrase. But there's more here. There's a pattern of me subsidizing the building while they treat it like a toy to hand out. The judge held up a hand. This isn't small claims with feelings, she said, but not unkindly. I need facts. Understood. We walked through photos, emails, the single text from my mom. Thank you for covering taxes again. We'll pay you back, which of course never happened. The Venmo notes. Even the permits my dad asked me to pull because your name gets faster approvals, which is not true, but he believed it. The lawyer tried to object. Irrelevant. The judge shook her head. Pattern is relevant in equity. Then Ava spoke. I'm not the bad guy, she said, voice glossy. I've been saving. I deserve what every woman deserves, a safe home. You do, I said quietly. It just doesn't have to be mine. She looked at me like I'd ruined a party. My dad finally jumped in, his turn to be loud. He was always just staying until he got his act together, he said. I've had my act together for 10 years, I said. You just didn't like the plot. Enough, the judge said. I have what I need. Then it happened. A small hand tugged Jess's sleeve. It was Nora, who had been drawing quietly. She whispered something. Jess shook her head. Nora stood anyway. Small kids stand like lightning. Everyone looks. Your Honor, Nora said, voice high but steady. Can I show you something Daddy doesn't know? The courtroom went very still. The judge softened. Who are you? I'm Nora, she said. I'm 7. The judge glanced at me. I nodded once. You may, the judge said, careful. Nora walked to the front, pulled her tablet from her backpack like a secret. It's a video, she said. From our camera. I learned how to save it. She added like this was show and tell. The judge took the tablet from the bailiff like she was holding evidence. Which she was. Where's this from? She asked. The day Aunt Ava came over when Daddy was at work, Nora said. She told me not to tell. But I needed to. The video filled the screen. Our living room. Afternoon light. The timestamp at the top. The door opening. My mom and Ava stepping inside while I was gone. My mom riffling mail. Ava walking to the kitchen and pulling the battery from the CO detector, her fingers quick like she'd done it before. Don't touch that, my mom said in the video, but not like a rule. Like a script. Relax, Ava said, smiling. If the inspector fails him, he'll have to move out. It's faster. My mother didn't argue. She lifted a stack of drawings off my desk and said, we'll just say we thought they were old. On the video, Nora's voice piped up from the stairs. Hi, Andy. Ava spun around. The mask didn't slip. Hey, Peanut. Secret. Don't tell Daddy we were here. It's a surprise. What kind? The tiny Nora asked. The kind that's good for the family, my mom said. On the tablet, the video kept going. Ava walking to the breaker panel. Which one is heat? She murmured. In winter we can't, my mom started. Not now, Ava said. Later. We'll be smart. The audio was clear. The faces were clearer. I didn't know whether to thank my daughter or throw up. The judge watched the entire clip. She handed the tablet back. The room was boiling and frozen at once. She turned to my parents. Do you want to be heard? My mom's mouth opened. Closed. We didn't mean. The judge held up a finger. Here's what we're not going to do, she said. We're not going to pretend this is about a young woman's empowerment when I have a video of a coordinated attempt to sabotage safety equipment and manipulate an inspection to manufacture a violation. Her voice went quiet. Quiet is worse than a shout. You asked me for equity. Equity is conscience. My dad tried a last swing. He's ungrateful. This isn't about gratitude, I said, calm in a way that felt borrowed. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. The judge nodded like the words landed. Motion denied, she said, crisp. Petition dismissed with prejudice. I'm also entering an order enjoining plaintiffs from entering defendants' residence without express consent, and I'm referring this to the Housing Authority for review regarding attempted interference with safety devices. She looked at Nora. You did the right thing. Nora blinked. Are we moving? Not today, the judge said. Then to me, softer, get your locks changed. In the back row, a relative made a sound like a rubber band snapping. It was over. And it wasn't. News travels in families like smoke through drywall. It finds every hole and lingers. By the time we got home, 3 aunts had texted question marks, and 1 uncle had sent me a link titled 10 Ways to Be Less Selfish. Jess hugged Nora on the porch. Hero, she whispered. Nora shrugged like she'd just colored inside the lines. Inside, I sat on the couch and stared at the CO detector. Intact. Battery in. I pressed the button just to hear it scream. The first missed call was my mom. Then my dad. Then Ava. Then a number I didn't recognize that turned out to be my mom again from the landline. Because guilt always needs multiple channels. I didn't pick up. I ordered new deadbolts. I booked an electrician, someone who wasn't me. I texted our landlord-tenant lawyer to ask about a letter, a line in the sand that said, "Stop." At bedtime, Nora crawled into my lap. "Did I get you in trouble?" she asked. "You got us out of trouble," I said. "Are Grandma and Grandpa mad at me?" "They're mad at the video," I said. "And the video is true." She thought, then nodded. "Truth is like seatbelts," she said. "Annoying but important." I laughed for the first time in a week. Exactly. The next morning, my dad showed up on the sidewalk like a storm front. He didn't step onto the stoop. The injunction letter had already arrived. He held his hands out, palms up, like, "How did this happen?" "You embarrassed us," he said. "In a room you chose," I said. He ignored that. "Your mother is sick over this." "She's not sick," I said. "She's disappointed she didn't get what she wanted." He rocked on his heels. "We were trying to help your sister." "I know," I said. "You always are." He looked past me into the living room like he could unsee the tablet. "She's the baby," he said, as if that were a legal doctrine. "Then buy her a crib," I said. "Stop asking me to be the mattress." He flinched. Maybe at the tone. Maybe at the metaphor. I didn't say it to be clever. I said it because it was true. For a week, we lived in a weird quiet. No simple, "We're making lasagna. Come over." No, "Are you free Saturday? The fence needs you." I started to see how much of my calendar had been built out of other people's expectations. Whole Saturdays opened up like empty lots. I took Nora to the lake. We built a bridge out of driftwood in the ends of summer. I made pancakes badly, and she ate them like they were perfect. I drove past open houses and did not leave my name. I measured the little bedroom and drew Nora a loft bed with steps that doubled as drawers. When she saw the sketch, she gasped like she'd discovered a new color. We built it together, two screwdrivers like swords. Then the messages changed flavor. My mom texted, "We overreacted. Let's talk." Ava sent a paragraph about how she'd been under so much pressure. My dad wrote, "Family is messy," which is what people say right before they ask you to clean up. I didn't respond. Silence is a boundary that doesn't need exclamation points. Instead, I wrote my own letter. Not legal. Personal. 1 page. I printed it and dropped it in their mailbox because I wanted the thunk to count. "Mom, Dad, and Ava," it began. "I love you. That hasn't changed. What has changed is access. You don't get keys anymore. You don't get to set my timelines. You don't get to walk into my home because you decided it's yours. We won't be at Sunday dinner for a while. If we talk in the future, it will be in a therapist's office with rules. If you post about me, don't. If you show up here, don't. If you call Nora to explain, don't. This is not revenge. This is closure. We are not moving. We are not debating. We are building our life." I signed it. Not love. Just my name. I expected rage. I got pivot. People who are used to you bending don't accept straight lines. They try new angles. Ava posted a picture of a key on Instagram with the caption, "Homeowner vibes," and a location tag at a condo building across town. The comments were full of confetti. My mom called 3 days later pretending to check on my boiler again. "You know we were only thinking of Nora," she said. "Children need a yard." "She has one," I said. "It's 20 steps from our door." "But, Mom," I said gently. "Stop." She sniffed. "Well, if you won't forgive us." "I forgive you," I said. "I just don't live under you." That got me a dial tone. My dad followed with a text. "We're updating our wills." I put my phone face down and continued tracing Nora's loft bed parts on plywood. On the 4th Saturday, I saw Ava at the grocery store. She did the diplomatic half smile. "We should talk," she said. "We are," I said. "You know I didn't mean to hurt Nora." "You told a 7-year-old to keep a secret," I said. "You pulled a safety device. You meant to get a result. You got one." Her face hardened. "You always make me the villain." "You cast yourself," I said. She stepped closer, then looked at the aisle camera and stepped back. "Okay," she said. "Enjoy your little shack." I looked at the basket in my hand. Milk, eggs, maple syrup, screws. "I will," I said. After the groceries, I drove to a locksmith. I handed the man my old deadbolts and my new resolve. "We had a situation," I said. He nodded like he hears that every day. Maybe he does. While he cut keys, he said, "You're the architect who did the library edition, right?" "Yeah. My kid loves that reading nook," he said. "Feels safe." Safe. That word. People think safety is locks and batteries and codes. It is. But it's also a calm voice, a choice not to answer a call, a letter that says no. At night, when the new locks clicked, the whole carriage house felt different. Not bigger, not fancier, just mine. Nora taped a sign on the door in bubble letters, home. Then, under it, smaller, no secret visits. I didn't ask her to write it. I didn't need to. She was building too. I can name the day the anger left. Not the dismissal. Not the new locks. Not telling my mom to stop using yard like a moral clause. 2 months later, a Tuesday, I was laying out a school renovation, chasing winter light across a room, when Jess sent a photo. Nora on the bus, gap-toothed, thumbs up. 3 words under it. She's okay, Dad. Something I nodded. The part that kept checking for the next email didn't disappear. It just stopped driving. People want revenge arcs. This isn't that. It's a wiring diagram. An as-built. Me drawing true lines. I still see my parents. At a cousin's shower, I stayed by the coffee urn. Mom tested jokes. I answered what mattered and moved when the old magnets tugged. Dad tried football small talk. We were in a room with white balloons and a future that didn't need me. Ava bought a condo. Posted the backsplash. Called herself a girl who can do both after hanging a towel hook. Good for her. I don't need credit and I don't need an invite. Sundays, Nora and I build. We made a cedar bird feeder and hung it where we can see it. Library after. Safety is a place you choose. Sometimes Mom texts therapy. I reply with a clinic and a date. Sometimes they show. I say the sentence again because the door keeps drifting open. I love you. You don't get keys. The court order sits in a clear sleeve. Paper is memory. On shaky days, I press play on Nora's video. 15 minutes long. The lesson is longer. If the people who raised you will kill your alarms to keep their story, become your own alarm. This isn't about revenge, I told the judge. Still true. It's about Nora living where promises don't hide knives. It's about not being a wall you hang things on. Boundaries aren't meanness, they're seatbelts. Closure isn't a slam. It's the click of a deadbolt, the whir of a saw when the cut fits, the thunk of a letter in a mailbox, a text that reads, she's okay. Maybe my parents never really get it. Maybe Ava never says sorry without a but. What I know, when I tuck Nora in, she keeps her tablet close because she wants it, not to hide something for an adult. My name is Matt. Architect. I place light where it belongs. I used to be a utility line. Now I live where alarms work, windows open easy, and the person with the key knows how to use it. No one gets to turn my life into their first home. No one tells my kid to keep secrets. Family won't be the bruise. I'm done being rearranged. I build. I protect. I stay calm when people tell on themselves. I tell the truth, even when it clicks quiet. I'm not moving. Not like that. Do I regret letting Nora speak? No. She told the small, exact truth. That's architecture. 2. Measure twice. Cut once. Don't hide the load. We're okay. More than okay. We're home.